Up, we have Patricia Forbes. She is an advanced interdimensional healer and medical intuitive. She communicates with multidimensional beings. She is teaching a workshop today, I believe at 4 o'clock. I need to check the time. Is it at 4? It's with hybrid children and the next aspect of assisting the Galactic Federation of Light. So please check out her workshop, and let's give Patricia Forbes a big round of applause. And let's take a microphone.
How's that sound? Okay. Wow. Thank you guys for inviting me back again this year. I was surprised. I guess every year I'm kind of surprised when you do. Part of it's because every time I get invited back, I get downloaded with some more information, and it's kind of freaky. I don't know if I always want to give it. So I'll give a quick recap about me. I grew up here in Colorado, in the Southwest Valley. I've been a wife for almost 50 years, a mom of 3 adult children, and 5 grandkids. I've been a licensed massage therapist for around 20 years, I think, I don't know. In that, I've taken multiple classes on so many different techniques and modalities, constantly searching for, I don't know, just the next thing, I guess. I keep hearing, just pay attention and listen better, which is probably what these workshops make me do.
Yeah.
But a lot of the work I do is in the quantum technologies, quantum consciousness technologies. It includes the regeneration healing, which I also teach, matrix energetics. I don't teach, nobody's allowed to teach that, except Dr. Bartlett. But it's a lot of fun. And I've also created a bunch of my own classes. One of them is, called name of it. It appears harmonics and transformation, and a newly evolved chakra system. I think it's always been there. I worked out with people on it last year. It's always been there. It's just coming more online. But then the other one is some things that I get told to teach that I don't really want to teach, and I say, no, God, I'm not teaching that. Get somebody else. And before you know it, I'm teaching the workshop anyway. Kind of like today. So, last year, I talked a lot about our DNA and how it carries the emotional consciousness and trauma of what our ancestors are. Well, some people, whether you want to admit it or not, carry lighter DNA connections, and some people carry darker DNA connections. It just depends on what your DNA is evolved from. And also that our ancestors are not just our family here, they're our ancestors from our galactic family. And so we're also carrying that information. And we also need to clear some of the trauma and drama evolving around that. So that's what I talked about last year. I also offered last year and walked everyone through a clearing of GMOs and what the chemicals do to our systems. And that is still on my website if anybody wants that. Just log on and you will find it. Just download it and walk through it. It's very simple, but it's more powerful than you can imagine. It comes from the regeneration technologies, from the Russian spiritual scientists started it. But I kind of evolved into my style. And then a quick recap about my ET stuff. was that I revealed a lot of that about me a couple years ago when I was talking to her. And what happened was I have a friend who is a hypnotherapist. And I wanted to know more about me and my ET connection. And all this time I thought I was a walk-in. No big deal. And I thought, well, I'll just do the hypnotherapy session for fun. Just for fun to experience it. Well, I found out I was not a walk-in, that I was what's called splice scan, which kind of felt right. It's not a hybrid, but a splice scan. And that was really weird to try to figure that out. But what I saw was, it's so hard to talk about this. What I saw was the egg, right as it was fertilized with mom and dad, but there's also a being with a syringe with this healthy substance in it, and another being with this wafer thin product that was kind of like fiber stuff. And they were both inserted into this egg at the exact same time. And I knew it was DNA from the Milky Way galaxy and DNA from the Andromeda galaxy. And it was all created by the pure divine light beings of those two galaxies because of what our job is here now. And I'm not the only one that's like this. There's probably some of you out there too. Where this came from was a program that's been ongoing with our Earth and our galaxy for eons, but it was ongoing with the dark beings. It was going on with the Archons, the Draconians, the Reptilians, some of the Greys, some of these I don't even know the names of. But it was going on with this spliced-in method of controlling and creating power and control within our planetary system. And you notice with the governments of all of the countries around the planet, they're pretty much looking that way if you really look at their eyes. They've got this DNA going through them. So the Galactic Federation of Light did not come down here and handle this problem on their own. So they asked for volunteers, and that's where we came in, and they created this whole splicing program to the light side now. And that's where I'm a part of. And I got told that I'm like 97% splicing ET, half of that being Andromeda, and half of that being of the Milky Way galaxy. So that's why it's kind of hard to talk about this here. But anyway, so many of us chose to come here to save the planet, and we were not given a manual on how to do it. Is that we have to listen. We have to listen to all these codes that come about to us, and listen to how they impact our bodies and our systems. What happened to those of us that are created with the light energies were more affected by the chemtrails and the vaccinations, the genetic modified foods, and the very sound wave technology that goes on. And we've got HARP, we've got like the sonic stuff. There's various programs going on out there that are harmful to us, and we have to know how to not be a part of that. And I think these codes that Chief talked about a while ago are part of that. They help us raise our consciousness. Some of us say vibration, but I really think it's more consciousness of how we hold ourselves, of how we hold our boundaries, and how we just become more empowered in who we are. Now, the main reason I'm here today, let me go ahead and put this on, is to start with, I did ask for a Galactic Federation team of divine pure light to surround us, and for each of us to have our own personal teams with us, and to work with us today and throughout this conference, even though whether I'm here or we're in this room or wherever we go, they'll still be working with us on this subject if we want it. It's our choice. So the information will be sealed from the dark agenda. If they hear it, they will not be able to understand it or translate it, no matter what method they've used. And that's what I was told last night. I was really concerned about all this. First of all, we need to stay in a state of neutrality. And as we talk about these subjects, there was the anger and the fear and stuff talked about this morning, and it does create a vibration in us, but we're going to be more in a neutral mode, where we do not experience the fear or the anger, no drama, the emotion of any kind along that level. The neutrality of it, and we can go into that by just breathing. Now, when I started thinking about what to talk about here today, I was kind of worried, like, no, I have nothing new to say, what do I talk about? But then I had these flashes going through my head. Oh yeah, remember what happened in the 80s and 90s? And it was, oh crap. And the one that really shook up was, I was just laying on the sofa with my family, we were watching a Bronco game, and all of a sudden I see this little critter, probably about, 2.5 feet tall, standing up on its hind legs, looking kind of like a puppy dog with floppy ears and a tongue hanging out, looking really cute. And of course, he didn't get my attention because I was sucking for critters. And I kind of scanned my family and saw that no one else sees this. Okay, what's going on here? But in my head, I knew immediately, and I don't know how I did it, somehow I ended up from the sofa to the bathroom with this critter. It's like I must have grabbed it through the dimensions and got in the bathroom, where nobody's going to bother me, because they're going to stay focused on that bubble. So I noticed where it came from, why it was there, and how it got there, all in just flashes. And me being a mom raising teenagers at that time, I was a little bit upset with why and how it was happening at that moment. What happened is our hybrid children, not maybe us individually, but the hybrid children that have been created from our like DNA were manning the ship. And they were under control of these other beings. They were manning the ship. And they created this critter to contact me. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. But yet, hey, you're invading my space, and this is private space. And I was still the mother of teaching teenagers. Like, leave me alone. I'm busy. But yet, going through my head all the time while I was talking to them was, so they have this level of accessing each and every one of us, and we don't have a say about it. And I kind of mentioned to them that this isn't okay. That we are parents, yes, but just by using our parent program of, yeah, I'm here for whatever you need, isn't right. And I think most moms are there for whatever their kids need. They ask, and we're just right there. And dads probably are too, but not from their industries or better in the same level as what moms are. So I mentioned to them at that time, this telepathic thing went on so fast that it's wrong for them to be taking our life information. What I saw was they were taking information that we were getting downloaded with all the time, and our knowledge, and it was just, before we even know it, it was through us. It was coming through and into the sacred streets and into their share, going to the dark agenda. And I thought, well, that's not right. No wonder they know certain steps ahead of us all the time, whatever we're doing, whatever we're going to do. So I had this conversation with these hybrids, and they weren't children. These are like teenagers on up. So it's not like correctly, the kids are chewing out. He was older kids. So I told him and talked to him about, you guys, you could come together and work with your life information. Be a part of assisting us instead of helping the dark agenda overpower us. Help, let's create an empowerment system here. So at the time, I didn't know how they did it, but I knew they were doing it. And then when I started scanning and going back, I don't know how we do it, I just kind of go back to see what's been going on the past 20 years. And I saw that they had created a form of communication among themselves, kind of like in one of the Harry Potter movies, where it wasn't one of the later Harry Potter movies, later Harry Potter movies where they have a room where they could all go into to work together, and nobody else could go in there and get the information. It was like they were totally sealed off, like they were invisible, nobody could track them, and they were creating what they needed to do for their next step. Well, I saw that these beings have been doing this for the past 20 years. Now, the problem is, how do we take our responsibility back at this? And when I asked that, it was how do we create our boundaries and set our boundaries so the dark side does not take this information that comes into us so quickly that we can't even say no. So, I don't know if you guys can recognize if this information is coming into you. For me, I feel like fuzziness in the brain or buzzing, or I need to take a quick nap and nobody's listening and saying, hey, I'm driving, I can't lay down right now. So, it's like, I don't like my energy being tampered with like that, even though it's not the light side. The light side doesn't treat you that way. This is not okay. So it's time to stand up, at least for me. I don't know if anybody else is in that situation or not. But it was time for me and to understand this and to disconnect this channel of knowledge from going to this dark agenda, whatever you want to call it. It felt like a high of some sort. So, the first thing that I made within me, I don't know if this works for any of you, but my statement was, I am done giving my light to the dark. I will no longer participate or give my energy or information to those of the dark, or those that will find a way to use it against me or my family here on this planet or any other benevolent planet. So I chose to take responsibility for my part for this planet and galaxy. Now today, we can create the boundaries of this room within each of us. Since I asked for each of us to have our own light team with us, as you're sitting here, I asked, we have to make it fun, because sometimes these codes of these geometric shapes that flash on and off, we're not always aware of them, but they're there. It's your choice to do this with me or not. And when I call in the benevolent teams of light and love to surround the room, and we're going to ask for the healing codes of this particular set of boundaries to be activated within each of us. And the codes of discernment to be activated on a higher level too. So now, I wanted this to be fun, so that we're not looking at it so seriously. And when I work with consciousness technologies like matrix energetics or some of the stuff I just sort of made up, this is what I got shown how to do it. So first of all these teams in here, We told them kind of go up into the rafters, and they are going to create plasma bubbles to be blown down for us. They're going to be individualized if you want it. You don't have to allow it to be opened over you if you don't want it. But I asked them to blow these plasma bubbles in, and for them to be here for those that come in later, or for those that watch the video later. They can also receive it too. But these plasma bubbles floating through the room will contain specific information related to the neutralizing of the cords that are stealing or enlightening information by the dark. Each of these bubbles are programmed for a specific person, as we are all different, and with a little different coding to be worked with. The exact bubble will find the person it is supposed to align with. Within that bubble is specific coding to assist only that one person. There are some of these bubbles that are lining up by the doors for those that come in later. If there's a question, the bubble may follow them home. If there's a question about doing this, the bubble may follow them home, waiting for a time for them to be ready. Now these bubbles are being prepared for you over your head, and they're getting bigger. And the outing of them is becoming thinner and thinner. And for those that are ready to receive it, just take a breath and allow it to open over your head and flow down through you, working with your DNA codes. Turning up the stream of light that goes to the dark side. Take a few breaths and allow your system to shift with this. Remember, it's your choice. You don't have to keep this. It's your choice. This does not mean that you're cutting off the connection with your hybrid family. It will just be cleaner. Now we're going to take a few breaths. Let yourself feel it and notice what you notice. There is no right and wrong with this. It just is the way it is. When you feel ready to open your eyes and breathe, wiggle around a little bit. And just see how you feel about it. And of course, you can always undo it. If you're comfortable with it, you can always undo it. Now, are there any questions? Does anyone have any comments about what we just did? Yes.
You call it spliced in. I was aware of a walk-in situation where two energies came in together. One was a otherworldly, and one was a more of the human soul aspect. And I always called it a merger because I didn't have a word for it.
So you were calling like a walk-in versus a merge. I mean, you're calling it a merge versus a walk-in. Is that right?
No, it's more of a merge than splice. It doesn't
Okay. Well, what happened with me was when I was a different. I mean, when I was like the very first cell lead, right? And you're talking about what happened to you later?
more of a near-death experience.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to this. Yeah, I have. I have heard of that. There's just so many different ways of how we're being connected, contacted and worked with. Are there any other questions? Yes.
I went totally out. So
What did we do, Carol? We went totally out. later. My workshop will be at 4 o'clock, and we'll be talking more about this or other consciousness technologies, and we'll be working with whatever shows up again. And are there any other questions at all? Okay, I'll turn this over to the person in charge.